So one of the issues that we have on our property that we want to solve is that we have a lot of mosquitoes in the evening. So it's pretty uncomfortable to sit out by the fire or down by the river for any length of time. So on our revised priority list for this summer, we are going to build 3 bat houses to try to encourage biodiversity and get some bats onto our property in the evenings to eat those all up. So we're pretty excited about it because we've actually been wanting to do it for a long time, and now we finally have the opportunity. So.
Tossed by the jealous waves of the sea, I'm not
This is the tree that we're putting the first bat house into.
Hey folks, just a quick little note on the bat houses that we chose. I trust Kim's going to show a tearaway or a cutaway of the design. I just stole that off of, I think it was Pinterest or somewhere on the intertubes. But the basic premise is there are baffles, so it's like just essentially a box with a sloped roof. It has to face, or most ideally should face southeast. If not southeast south, the idea is that you want sun exposure. The area where you put it's got to be about 15 feet in the air. And what was the other thing? It has to have no branches around it, so they can't have to, they shouldn't be having to fight their way into it. So if there are, like for instance, we hung it on one of them on the on what we call the Q-tip. It's like a jack pine. It's just a big long pole with a bit of green at the top. But there's a bunch of scraggly dead branches along the way, so we cut a couple of those off so that, where the house hangs, there's a clear shot for them to fly up in. So the idea is it's just a box. It's got an entirely open bottom, so also consider where it is. Don't put anything underneath it because their droppings, the guano, is going to accumulate there and fall out the bottom of the box. But basically, they fly up in. They can go up into any number of baffles that are set up, and they're set up at varying widths. And I think the idea is that at the front of the house, if they're cold, the gaps are very small, so that way they go up inside closer to where the sun is. It's warmer, it's tighter, their body heat can kind of accumulate because they will roost together. And then if they are warm, they will work their way back to the further baffles, which are wider. And I guess the idea of better airflow and it's cooler. And what's neat about this one that we chose, there's a little cutout along at the back where you can get up through the roof into this kind of attic space. And I think that's for breeding. It didn't really say, I just assumed, but if anybody else knows better than I do, just let me know. So I think that's all of it. Oh, and the other thing too, it's best to use rough cut lumber. You want it to be somewhat textured, because the idea is they fly in and they kind of Velcro to it, so they need something to hook their claws into. If it's like plywood or if it's too smooth, I don't know if it'll be ideal. So we've done everything that we can. We've hung one in that Q-tip pine, one in the maple, which is a bit tricky because we had to, just the branch that we hung it on is at an angle, so I couldn't just strap it to the branch like I did the other. It kind of had to level it out, so I went up with my level, plumbed it, measured from the tree out. It was about 16 inches, and then I made a little foot, if you will, like just a square piece that screwed into the back of the box to butt it out, like to push it out like that. So that one's hanging straight, and then the last one we're going to hang today is in the butternut tree, and that should be straightforward like the jack pine, because it's got a nice straight trunk for us to attach it to. But famous last words.
It doesn't really matter who's wrong or right. I'm still gonna squeeze you tight with all my might. Sugar rain come pouring down the lane, my flight. That's okay, that's alright. So long as I can be with you, I feel so high. And I can't seem to shake it, and I don't know why. You got me in my feelings, keep me up all night. That's okay, that's alright. When I wake to the news, you have run off with the moon in your pocket, and nobody saw you slip away so soon. You can do no wrong in my eyes. Let's bury the hatchet, no more lies. Baby, you're wound too tight. Let me help you ease your mind. 'Cause nobody told you, I try to console you. You will get to where you're going. I'm not gonna sway you, I'll try to persuade you. You figure it on your own. Some might say that we can choose who we love, and if we lose sight of who we are, that we can go back and get a brand new start. Get in touch with our souls and understand our deep desire. So I climb inside the tap.
Is this a video?
This is a video, yeah.
Hello everyone.
Look at how beautiful.
It's a nice day. It's hot as balls out here though, everyone. Hot as balls.
Yeah.
This guy's late to the party.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, where'd you go? That's awesome. What the